Cat owners of Reddit, what's the weirdest thing your cat has done? My cat carries a stuffed fish around my house and meows with it in her mouth. My cat does that with a stuffed mouse. My cat eats the dog's food to assert dominance. Mine does this too. My mom says it's because she doesn't like her food, but I know for a fact it's because she's fat and wants food 24/7. If she didn't like her food, she wouldn't be stuffing her face constantly. I had a few cats over the years. Cat 1. If you are leaving for a trip, she will sit on your suitcase for hours to try and prevent you from leaving. Cat 2. He clawed a towel and ended up getting all 4 of his claws stuck in it. Moments later he was wrapped in the towel crying pathetically because he failed to get free. Cat 3. When I worked evenings he would sit on the couch near the front door waiting for me to come home. As soon as I walked up the porch he would curl up and pretend that he is asleep. My heart for Cat 3. Every time I sneeze, my cat comes out from wherever he is and meows at me with concern. I choose to believe he's meowing bless you. When I got one of my cats he was pretty feral. He only has 3 legs so he can't go back to his colony. I realized that every time I sniffed he thought I was hissing at him. He would flinch. My cat will literally park her off of my back onto the furniture. The first time it happened I thought my partner came up behind me and shoved me, but no. My cat does a kind of acrobatic turn around on windowsills. He'll keep his front paws down and lift his back legs above himself on the window and swing them to the other side. Got a video once but I DK how to upload it to here. He keeps on licking a certain wall, tiles, in the bathroom and a stone column in our front yard. He licks those daily. I can't tell why he does that despite checking on Google for answers. He could have a nutritional deficiency. There is also a thing called pica. My cat tries to eat plastic. I have to hide it from him deep in the trash. He does it so he can barf it up like he'd eating grass. I have had too many cats over the years, so I'll put one my newest, Dobby the house cat, here. He likes to sleep with me, preferably on my legs or snuggled up close to face. He also happens to wake up before I do and tries to wake me up to let me know he has to be fed. Apparently, I had been sleeping with my mouth open and I woke up to Dobby, his whole front paw in my mouth, and he's giving me the most evil of cat glares. I was 2 hours late for breakfast. My previous cat would sit in my hair while I slept, butthole against my scalp. I had a 8-week-old kitten that hated me. I mean, like, hated me. Every time I tried to apply flea treatment, or even just brush her, always being very gentle and with no sudden movements from the sides or above, she swiped and hissed at me like I was Satan himself. I've raised cats before, but even the shelter manager told me that I might not be able to successfully socialize the kitten. She hadn't been able to, and that it was totally okay to bring her back if it didn't work out. And then, one odd day, the kitten did a 180 and became the most friendly, barely showing cat, following me around the apartment and such and talking. In fact, she became pretty clingy at times, almost like a dog and always needing companionship. When I come home she's waiting by the front door. She wasn't ill or hungry. The vet found nothing weird. It's as if some switch flipped in her and she decided I was okay. When I asked the vet about this strange behavior, she just shrugged her shoulders and said cats. My cat can jump up and hit the ice maker so he can play with the ice cubes when they hit the floor. The toy dispenser. I had a cat that didn't know how to meow. It actually didn't speak cat. I don't know what language this creature was speaking. It didn't meow. It gargled. Sometimes he seemed like he was honestly trying to meow, but it still just came out as mmmmmmgaahh. He was a total sweetheart though. Lol, I laughed too hard at the gar sound. Onomatopoeia. I have a weird but kinda sweet story. My cat is usually all about my husband. When my husband is home the cat follows him around, demands to get picked up and held like a baby and cuddles with him the most. Unless I'm sick. Even when it's just a migraine, the cat seems to know and cuddles with me and won't leave my side until I feel better. So, about a month ago I was feeling horrible, sick to my stomach, migraine, really bad period cramps, a sore throat, all topped off with congestion so bad I had to breathe out of my mouth for days. So I'm laying in bed, hoping some medicine will kick in and I can fall asleep when I feel the cat jump off the bed. I figured he was going to leave me be, but he came back in about a minute and dropped something in my hand, which I had laying kind of open on the bed beside me, palm up. It was a water bottle cap. I have no clue where he found it. We haven't had water bottles in the house in at least a year, if not 1.5 years. I don't know why he brought it to me, but he thought, in that moment, I needed that cap. He got all the head scratches and cuddles that day. My cat is very particular about my sleeping times. She will scream at me if I stay up too late and stubbornly wake me up in the mornings if I sleep in. She has tried many methods of waking me up. My favorite was when she once placed her entire little body under my neck and then lifted up. Mine starts luring me to the bedroom when she thinks it's bedtime, usually around 22:00 Oslock. Walked to the end of the driveway, turned around, then ran as fast as he could to the front sliding door, launched himself at the flat screen and used the momentum and the swinging weight of his body to slide the door completely open and walked on in like the motherfucking boss he was. I was having acupuncture at home and my cat jumped on the bed and looked at me with an extremely worried face. Suddenly he started taking the needles out of my body one by one with his mouth. It was quite bizarre. That's actually really sweet. The cat I had when I was a kid developed a weird habit later in her life. Whenever she was laying on me, she'd stare me dead in the eyes and just slowly stretch a paw up and stick it in my mouth. Don't know why. Mine does that except she puts her paw on my nose. My cat will carry socks in his mouth from the laundry room to the living room meowing as loudly as he can the entire time, and now he's sort of passed the tray on to the other cats and they've started doing the same thing. I can just imagine like 20 cats all walking together with socks and surrounding you. He meows for attention and only stops if I pick him up and carry him around. I've had to learn the difference between his I'm hungry meows and his I need attention meows and his I don't need anything. I'm just messing with you meows. My cat is like this. I blame myself. When he was a kitten he wanted to be with me 24/7, so I would carry him around in a baby wrap. Now I end up doing most household chores one-handed and cradling him like a baby in the other arm. Not exactly weird, but the dumb mother kept finding ways into the walls of my old apartment then scream until he found his way to an exit. Idiot. I bet he flattened himself out and whoosh went right through a seam in your wall. My elderly indoor cat used to cry for me to take her outside in the winter. She would cling to me if I tried to put her down in the snow. She just wanted me to carry her around for a few minutes outdoors. R.I.P. Annie dear. That is so sweet. R.I.P. Annie. My cat used to have a little bell collar when she was little, but she would always try to remove it by getting her lower jaw under it and unclipping it. Sometimes she couldn't get it loose and would get her jaw stuck in the collar. Several times that poor cat came to us for help with her mouth forced wide open by the collar so that we could unclip it. After a few weeks we gave up on the collar. Every cat I've ever lived with has gotten their lower jaw stuck in their collar at some point, usually when they're kittens and first getting used to collars. When my cat was very young, she started to mimic sounds that my daughter made to get my attention. The absolute creepiest was her attempt of mama. She would come to the bedroom door in the middle of the night and scratch at it while constantly making that eerie, humanoid sound. It was not pleasant to wake up to. I wish we had recorded it. She stopped after we had her spayed, although she is still incredibly talkative. My cat before that was an orphan. He would need my skin and create pinpoint like hickeys if I didn't make him stop. One morning I woke up with what looked like a rash on my neck. He wasn't allowed to sleep in my room after that. Plot twist. Her uterus was the one making mama's sounds. One of my kitties, Binks, has a shoe fetish, or maybe just a foot fetish in general. Loves rubbing on shoes constantly, especially when I get home and first take them off. She will come dashing from the next room to shove her face in them. And she is the type of cat that will bite when you pet anywhere but her head, unless it is done with feet, and then she purrs the entire time. My sister's cat, Minnie, has this thing about my Crocs. She stuffs her head into them and slides around the carpet. Once she realized she could see through them, it was so dang funny. My shoes are the only ones she does this with. My cat is obsessed with bottle caps. Whenever he hears one being unscrewed, even if he's fast asleep and we're across the house, he comes running to steal them. They're his favorite toys. I keep a jar full of them, and whenever he invariably bats one under the couch or fridge, he goes and fishes a new one out. Mine does the same thing, but before he plays with it he will grab it in his mouth, walk it over to the water dish and wash it before playing with it. I was thinking about my cat being sentient and communicating with me telepathically. I looked behind me and she was staring at me with her head turned in my direction. The only reason cats don't use their telepathy to directly communicate with us is because we're lesser beings who aren't worthy. My sister has a loft bed with a stepladder she got last year. From the bed, the cats can't see her, but two of them have figured out how to use the stepladder to get their cuddles in the middle of the night. Not only that, but one of them, Brutus, will actually ask if she's there by meowing to announce his presence and waiting for her to call him up. We figured he did this because he was too lazy to go up the ladder and check himself, lol. One of our other cats, Smiley, hates the loft bed with a passion and can't figure out its purpose. Sometimes I'll be sitting on the floor talking to her while she's in her bed and Miley will come in and freak out once she hears my sister's voice. She can't comprehend why she can hear her but not see her and she bolts out of the room. I really would like to know what that cat is thinking though as she runs out. Maybe she thinks the bed is haunted. Not only that, but one of them, Brutus, will actually ask if she's there by meowing to announce his presence and waiting for her to call him up. We figured he did this because he was too lazy to go up the ladder and check himself, lol. This is my favorite one in this entire thread. My cat puts live spiders in her mouth and brings them to me, in my bed, while I'm sleeping. Runs across the dining room and kitchen, stops as soon as she hits carpet, makes eye contact with me, and throws up. Why can't cats throw up on hard floor? I don't know. Does she hate me? Probably. One time, my cat was making I'm gonna barf noises. I got some paper towels and put them on the floor right in front of her. She looked at it, took 2 steps back, and barfed on the floor. Our cat absolutely loves being held when anyone is on the toilet. I have no idea why. She will come in the bathroom with you and beg to be picked up and purr so loudly when you hold her. It's so freaking weird. Yet one of my cats loves to be petted when I'm on the toilet. He runs from where he is when I go into the bathroom. He's usually quite standoffish except for toilet cuddles and before I go to sleep when he gets super purry and wants snuggles. The rest of the time he looks angry. I was on the toilet with my pants and underwear around my ankles, and she apparently thought they'd make a good hammock, so she jumped into my underwear, still around my legs, and proceeded to curl up and fall asleep. My cat has done this few times, too. It almost always happened when I was either getting ready for work or on my lunch break. My cat sat up, voraciously licked his erect dong while simultaneously crapping himself. I'm just scrolling through all these cute. Every time I sneeze he gets scared, and then there is this. My cat, Pixie, is a big weirdo. My 2 fave things she does are: 1. When my husband whispers at her, she chatters at him and thumps her tail. She usually doesn't do that when I whisper at her though. 2. She obsessively kisses my face when I'm in bed. She'll come over and plop in my arms and lick pretty much my whole face. She usually then falls asleep in my arms, or she sleeps above my head on my pillow, but not until she's done kissing. She also kisses hands and arms when we first come home. ETA, if I'm in the bedroom and she wants to play, she zooms in, jumps on the bed and puffs out like a Halloween cat, so I'll chase her. If she wants pets and feels we're being too slow, she'll spike up the fur on her back and arch up while twitching her tail so we'll scrub her back. It's adorable. My cat goes bat crap crazy when she smells bleach. She frantically scent marks and spazzes out in front of the toilet every time I put it in there. She seems to be in stress. I put her in a bedroom on the other side of the house now. Cats are very territorial. Bleach smells like the urine that cats spray to mark their territories. My cat blows air out of his nose like a cartoon bull when he's excited to play. His little nose expands and he lets out a raspy squeak through it. Ours is also very chatty. We don't meow back at him, but we can have full back and forth conversations where he meows and we respond back to whatever we think he's yammering about. My cat does this. Had a full conversation with her last night. Chicken makes him angry. If he gets a piece of it, he growls and snarls until it's gone. No other meat makes him act like that. That's actually not angry, that's extreme love. It's pretty much the cat version of touch my food and die. My cat will sit facing a random room corner and just stare at it for 30 minutes. Once in a while she'll try to attack it. I've checked many times, there is nothing on the wall when she stares at it for 30 minutes straight. This comment belongs in a haunted house subreddit. She loves climbing on people. When I was fostering her and her siblings as kittens, she'd always jump up onto my back whenever I crouched down to feed them, change their litter, act, and then she taught the others to do it too. So I'd sometimes be putting the food out with up to 3 kittens climbing all over me at a time. She doesn't do that these days too much, but she will climb up onto me or my brother's shoulders for rides or a better perch. She gets annoyed if I'm in the bathroom without her. Either she'll follow me in so she can supervise me while I'm in there, or else when I open the door she'll be sitting there, waiting, and will come in to figure out what she missed. She also doesn't like it if my hair's all wet from the shower, and will start biting it and trying to groom it for me. She also doesn't like it if my hair's all wet from the shower, and will start biting it and trying to groom it for me. One of my cats did that, but I figured she loved the taste of my wet hair. One of my cats eats tape. I'm not talking about just chewing on it a bit, like she'll literally swallow it and then barf it out later. He loves me and purrs and cuddles a ton, but when I do something wrong he bites like a demon and it's bad. I've yet to sort out right from wrong with any consistent rules I can understand. We've lived together 11 years so I'm giving up hope. Well, my cat just hopped in the shower with me. I don't want to destroy the story, but once my cat unexpectedly jumped into a shower with my wife and started drinking the water on the floor of the tub. We took him to the vet, and that's how we learned his kidneys were failing. Had this one water dispenser for over 2 years without it being a thing. If I let it run dry, she'd let me know by ramming her head into it, but that was very rare and it was mostly fine. Then all of a sudden she'd wake me up nearly every night ramming her head into it as if it were empty. 2 times she knocked it off kilter enough that it dumped everything more than the bowl could hold, and the second time was enough. I just got rid of it. Like, you win. B. I don't even know why you wanted this so bad, but there's literally no other solution. You win. 2 of our fluffy furballs like to wade out in the reeds of the lake to catch frogs and small fish. In warm weather they lay down in sandy shallows in the sun. All the water makes for pretty frequent dreadlocks, but they are getting used to the scissors. I've woken up to my cats licking my legs multiple times. On night my cat Kevin brought back a cooked beef joint. He growled when we tried to take it from him. Something about ripping flesh from bone brings out the feral in them. My guys get the occasional raw chicken neck from the butcher and they do that when I even look at them. Where I was living in the southern US, it snows very rarely. One year we got a light dusting. The next morning, I heard an unmistakable dying cat noise out in the yard. My cat was vocal. I'd had complaints from the neighbors about his meowing, but never in his life had he made such a horrible noise. It was like this protracted gurgling yowl. I rush to the window and see him, 3 feet on the porch and 1 foot in the snow. Drama queen, I think. Then, he puts another foot in the snow and makes the exact same noise. And again, just sounding like he's freaking dying with single step, yet making no move to return to the porch. I can hear the whole thing from my upstairs window. It turns from worrying to hilarious. After 20 minutes or so, he made his way back, acting completely normal. Weird freaking cat. You have been visited by the sniper kit. A good aim and also accuracy will come your way if you comment snipe well. Kit a like and subscribe, you magnificent person.